Money. That will be the main theme of today's video, as in the end it really can be the deciding factor for whether a manga will get adapted and when. Hello everyone, this is the RPG Monger, and today we're going to delve into a certain aspect of the anime industry that often has a lot of confusion around it. The process of choosing how and when to adapt a manga into an anime. So to start off, here's a little tidbit for you all. A majority of the anime we will watch, and I'm talking about the more recent stuff, is being adapted off of an unfinished source material, whether it be manga, light novel, or just about anything else that is adaptable. It's just the honest reality of things, and before I can go any further, I must discuss why that is. Well, to be frank with you, most of the time, anime will just turn a better profit when they are made when the source material is hot and popular. Not to mention there's the ulterior motive of making the sales of the manga skyrocket. This is because, in actuality, getting an anime adaptation is a win-win situation for the publishers, as with all the marketing that will result due to an anime, from magazines featuring it to bookstores promoting it, of course the publishers also want to make the anime succeed, as it will make them more money. But with all that marketing, the anime could completely fail and be utter trash, and the source material will gain from it anyways. Though why don't they just wait for the source material to end, or at least get close to an ending? Well, dear viewers, it all comes back to the main theme of this video: money. While yes, the anime will feel more complete and just much better overall, even if that is the decision they end up making, usually it will be for an entirely different reason. And the chances older finished manga even get adapted in the first place is usually quite slim, unless the creator is making a spin-off or reissuing them entirely in the first place. But then again, there's also the entirely real possibility of just a company looking for something to adapt in general, regardless if the publisher was asking for it. Though now that I've explained why this happens, I feel we should all look at some well-known examples of this exact deal happening. First, Full Metal Alchemist, no, not Brotherhood, the original, because as Brotherhood was released just as the manga was ending, the original was released quite a bit earlier, with the earlier chapters being all they had to work with. And to be honest, this is an interesting case, because just by hearing that, you automatically assume it's garbage, right? Well, while it is clearly not as good as Brotherhood in my opinion, just for the sole fact that the manga was only up to 7 volumes when they first made the original, I do feel it is worth taking a look at, purely out of curiosity, as the ending of the original is just not good, and that's kind of obvious. It is interesting to see just how they kind of scrambled through the anime and made do with what they had, since with Studio Bones behind it, the animation isn't all that bad. Though that's about all the compliments I can give it. Let's compare the two now, just to see how severe the differences are. Well, one thing I can say for certain is that Brotherhood for sure feels more like a shonen anime, whereas the original feels a bit more dramatic. Brotherhood does have a small issue with some things being a bit rushed, which in turn the original doesn't really have, as they do not have nearly as much to work with and put in quite a bit of filler understandably. While I can understand people watching it first and Brotherhood later to appreciate the latter more, in my opinion I still prefer Brotherhood much more, and believe it's the superior version. Even then however, if you end up enjoying the original, that's completely fine. Everyone has their preferences. Alright, and then the other example. About just as infamous as Full Metal Alchemist, Hellsing and Hellsing Ultimate, with the same situation as the prior, is honestly kind of worse, because Hellsing kind of just takes the characters from the original manga and just splats them into a story that is barely anything like the source material at all, with the only things remaining from the manga being key plot points. But I have one compliment for this original version of Hellsing. Well, technically 2 compliments. The opening is pretty great along with its theme, and the soundtrack is fantastic. Though besides that, I'd say Hellsing Ultimate eclipses the original in every other way possible. One major difference off the bat is that Hellsing Ultimate is actually an OVA and not even a TV series in the first place like the original. But this in turn makes the OVA have an unprecedented amount of quality packed into its animation and all. And weirdly enough in the original, they seem to focus on Ceres quite a bit more than in the faithful OVA, which may have been interesting, but I feel it just wasn't executed very well. Unlike previously, I have to strongly advise you do not watch the original Hellsing and just watch watch Ultimate instead. You'll have a much better experience, honestly. But then, there's also a chance you don't like Hellsing at all, which once again, it's all up to the person in the end. Adapting manga and just about anything else is really quite the complicated task. On one hand, we have the consumers, the everyday average anime watchers who just by watching something can clearly tell there's something off in a series, most of the time, and generally won't like an anime that's like this. But on the other hand, we have the people who call the shots and make decisions on how a show will be adapted exactly based on what will be most beneficial. In the end, it's a matter of money and motives, because at the most basic level, the anime industry is exactly that, an industry. An industry that, like any other, is fueled by money. Well, I'd hate to end it off there on such a bleak note, so here's a funny scene from Hellsing. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, do subscribe, and today's cool thing of the day is none other than the Hellsing Abridged series, because honestly, how could I talk about Hellsing and not put that in here somewhere? As to not spoil the fun, I'll just let you check that out on your own, link in the description. So that being said, I'm the RPG Monger, and don't forget that each and every one of you are fantastic.